Hello again, everyone. This is Shara from Astral Connections again, and here with me I have Shelina Manji. Shelina is a shaman. She's a holistic practitioner, and she's a Theta healing instructor. Wow, that's quite a mouthful there, Shelina.
Thank you so much, Charlotte, for inviting me to be part of Astral Connections, and I'm so happy.
It's a pleasure to have you.
I'm so happy that Astral is here, and hopefully more of the community will hear about Astral Connections and your amazing work that you're doing here, and the fabulous workshops and the instructors that you have here, and my very best wishes on your success.
Thank you, Shelina, and all the best to you too, always, of course. Tell me, Shelina, before we go into all the different practices that you're involved with and all the different spiritual aspects of your life, let's talk about just Shelina. Let's talk about her childhood. Let's talk about Shelina as a person. Can we do that?
Certainly, yes.
Tell me a little bit about yourself, about your earlier days, your education, etc.
Yes, I was born in Uganda in East Africa, and was very, very fortunate to have been brought up with a diversity model. My grandfather on my maternal side, cousin Jamal Kamani, was a philanthropist. He was a friend of Gandhi's, and it was his view that we need to be supportive to people of all cultures and religions and traditions. So I was born and brought up with the diversity model, very steeped in my own religious tradition as a foundation, but absolutely brought up within a lot of diverse religions and cultures. And I'm so grateful that that background allowed me to be of service to people and to be able to bridge the gap with that my clients have. And I absolutely love being of service.
Wow. Bridge the gap. So tell me a little bit of what you mean by that. How is it that having that diversity helps you bridge that gap?
My belief is that we're all related to each other on this planet, and the anthropologists are showing that within just a few connections that we're all related to each other on this planet. And so with the interesting gaps between the various religions and spiritual traditions, that I think that we're more similar than that we are different.
Absolutely.
That we all want peace.
We're all one.
Yes.
In the end.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Wonderful. Tell me, Shelina, I know you're a shaman. Or shaman. How do we say that?
Some traditions call it a medicine woman in the First Nations tradition. Some people call it a shaman. I'm okay with either term,
okay.
And that's fine. Yes.
Explain to us then how that became part of your life.
Yes, my maternal grandfather's mother and her people in India were healers, and they would call on Creator, and they would call on the guides to assist. They would do soul retrieval, which is just healing the soul. They would pray for people. It was a very spiritual tradition, and they were just happy to be of service.
So which tradition was that then?
This was within the religion that I have, which is Ismaili Muslim. So they would call on Creator, and they would call on the guides to pray for people. And they would do this for people of all religions. And of course, in those days, there was no need to ever charge money because the family would support you. And they were just happy to do the prayers for people to help them.
Okay. So talk a little bit about that part of your life now, Shelina as a shaman. Who's Shelina as a shaman? What does that mean exactly?
Yeah, I had a very practical, down-to-earth careers and everything to do with the medical field, the legal field. I worked in very down-to-earth professions. And
medical field and the legal field?
and those are still, very important to me even to this day. So I was 40 when I had that moment of spiritual awakening, the Satori, where one moment you are a certain way and the next moment your life has changed. And
Can you speak a little bit more specifically about that? Tell us a little bit about it.
Certainly, yes. I had a vision with one of my ascended masters, and I understood that I was here to help people, and so that was that opening that allowed me to take more workshops and help people. I had started the journey when I was 21 to help people. So until I was 41, I had done the thing of one good deed a day, and I had never shared that with anyone in the 20 years. And then I just decided that from 41 on that it was going to be not just one good deed a day, that it was going to be more expanded. And I gave up my regular job, and now I'm just happy to be more of service to people.
Wow. Wow, okay. So you mentioned Ascended Master, your Ascended Master. Now we hear that term a lot these days in the metaphysical world. Can you speak a little bit about that? Is your Ascended Master different than any other Ascended Master? Are they all the same? Who are these Ascended Masters?
I think Ascended Masters that most people are familiar with are the prophets, Buddha, Kuan Yin. And we all have access to Ascended Masters who are just happy to help us. So sometimes it's just an intention process. And I have many teachers, as it were, spiritually, and they let me know what I need to work on to help myself. I believe that everything happens with self first, so that when I'm healed and when I'm more balanced, then I can be more of service. I'm happy with that model.
Now, a lot of metaphysical practitioners, if I may call it that, have spirit guides. Do you have spirit guides, or do you have guidance in that sense?
Yes, I have very many spirit guides, and I think because I'm invested in helping a lot of people, therefore I have more spirit guides. So it's for me not an ego term to say I have lots. For me, it's more because I need I need the access to more of the help, and I'm trained to work with the other person's spirit guides and their ascended masters and guardian angels. So I'm all about working within my client's own spiritual framework and their own beliefs. That I feel that when I can do that, when I can celebrate their uniqueness, then I know that I'm in service. That my way is to never put my own point of view spiritually across. That when I understand and show to my client that they're divine, that their connection to Source is beautiful, that I honor their soul's journey and who they are, that feels very, very nice to me.
Wow. So I visited Shelina personally, and I was really impressed with the interaction I had in my session with you, with the accuracy, with the detail, the content in that event. And one of the things you had said was that there's spirits in my home, and that they need to go home, basically, and so was it okay if you did that? And I said okay. And afterwards I had a dream where all these people were coming to thank me, and I related that, like, I've never met or known these people before, but I made that relation that that dream might have had something to do with all those people you sent home, and they were coming to thank me. So I want you to speak a little bit about that interaction with an individual that you have normally, and what's in that process, and what exactly do you do, and why do you do some of the specific things you do? And I'll let you speak about the specifics rather than me going into it.
Sure. I usually work with Creator directly on the seventh heaven, which in my opinion is one of the more higher levels in heaven. And it's done with intention. My consciousness will be at the seventh plane. I will be asking Creator to have those spirits who may be not transcended to the light to be healed and blessed by Creator and sent to the light, so that I understand that my client is not only the person that who's working with me directly, but that we're all connected. And so when we can clear space and have Creator bless the space, then that's wonderful. And I always check for any programs the homes have, and my work is international, so I'm trying to clear space long distance as well, and it's very, very beautiful to watch an energy of the home shift to being more of love and light, and it's a very easy process for my clients. They're able to also muscle test before and after creator is removed, whatever energies are required to be gone, and so I really like that as well. And yesterday I had one of my clients in Australia email me and said, oh, you know, my home has something and I have something that needs to go. And 2 minutes later I cleared it, and she said she felt immediately better. So
That's
I like
wonderful.
that.
That's wonderful. That's confirmation, right?
Yeah.
So tell me then, okay, I'm just trying to understand specifically, what exactly happens? You close your eyes and just, do you have a spirit guide speak to you? Or do you see a vision, or is it different in every case, or what's the process?
Sure. Usually I will use a Theta healing meditation to get me to the 7th plane. Theta healing was founded by Vianna Stibel, who's one of my mentors, and usually the process is to bring energy up from Mother Earth into the feet, into the top of the head. Visualize a beautiful ball of light on top of my head. Usually I will have my consciousness in the ball of light. We'll go past the universe, past the bright lights, past the dark lights. Now the dark lights are not dark as in heavy energy, they're just outer space. Past the bright lights as well, which is the 5th plane, higher levels.
So the dark lights come after the white light or before?
Yeah, there'll be the bright lights, and then there'll be a bit of dark matter, which is not negative matter, it just is outer space. And then we'll hit the higher level of the 5th plane, which is where the ascended masters are, the teachers, the angels, and we go past that into the 6th plane of existence, which is where the universal laws are: time, space, motion, gravity, replication, duplication, justice. We had through a pink window in the law of compassion, and having my consciousness go all the way through up to the 7th plane, which is where Creator is, more easily accessible. It's 100% white light energy field. I am totally safe there, and not having an out-of-body experience, just my consciousness is at the 7th, and from there it's asking Creator for what I'm permitted to do. Creator will always ask me to work with permission of the client, and so I do like that, and it's a very powerful modality that works really well with other forms of healing. It does not interfere with medical treatment whatsoever. So we shaman, we believe usually that everything begins in the spiritual body, and the last place it shows up is the physical body. So we're wanting to clear it from all the planes of existence and all parts and all dimensions.
So, okay, so the 7th plane is the light, and your consciousness is there, and you're essentially asking the Creator what next, basically, and then you get a response?
Yeah, I'm usually up at the 7th, and I ask Creator, and then I just watch it happen. Quantum physics says that when energy is being observed, it does change. It acts more like a wave versus a particle. And so I just wait till Creator tells me it's done. I usually see the energy shift, and then I come back into my own reality, past all those bright lights, past the dark lights, all the way back into my body. I bring up energy from Mother Earth back up into my feet, to the top of my head. I let it permeate through all of me. Just a very grounding experience to be able to do that.
Okay. So once you've gone to 7th plane, it's visualize, I guess, seeing the change take place, you come back.
Yes, Creator will do the healing, and I will just witness it.
Okay, wow, that's amazing. So intent is the biggest thing then, right?
That's correct.
Intent and belief, and just the confidence that you're not the person doing it, it's the Creator.
Yes, and my own healing modality, which is called the spiritual way of the heart, is based on the same model up at the seventh plane, perhaps a different technique to get there, but the destination is the same. The spiritual way of the heart is done more with intention prayer. It comes with the premise that Creator has all the intelligence and knowledge in a quantum way, that I might not have access to all that knowledge. And so instead of being specific, like with Theta healing, spiritual way of the heart is more of a quantum energy where Creator will just understand what my intention is and will change the energy for the client. Sometimes the actual healing sequence could take days for the spiritual way of the heart. I'm not required to witness it necessarily, but it can take sometimes even more than 30 days for the whole sequence to finish, and Creator will be able to change the energy for the person as to what's required.
Wow. I always wonder actually why time has to be an issue, because in the spiritual world things should be more instantaneous, shouldn't they?
Yes, I agree. However, we have so many programs and millions of programs that make us up, and some of those programs may be not divine truth, that those are just ego-based programs, and then just to be able to shift the energy sometimes takes a little while. But I personally have seen that energy can be shifted across timelines quite easily if the client is open to it.
Wow, it's amazing. Okay, so we've talked about Theta healing. I want to talk a little bit more about you being a shaman though. Tell me about that. Like, was it from childhood? Was there a day in your life when you decided to embrace that aspect, or what? Talk to me about that a little bit.
Well, I was on the journey to becoming a Reiki master, and I was having visions. So I promptly called up a shaman from Alberta to come over and get rid of this for me. That I wanted to have nothing to do with this. And she said to me, "Don't worry, Shelina, you are probably not a shaman. Everyone wants to be a shaman. Seems trendy. There's nothing to worry about. I'm sure you're nothing of the kind." And she did a shamanic journey, and much to my horror, I was a shaman, she said, in many lifetimes. And so she just suggested that I train with the Foundation of Shamanic Studies. Michael Harner is one of my teachers, and I really like his approach to shamanism because it's based on bringing your own culture and your spiritual path and your own viewpoint to your shamanic practice, rather than in that way it becomes very individual, very personal. So I really like that model, and so then I started to do the shamanic work, and I really like it. I would say one of my favorite workshops is the shamanic journey workshop. So it's a meditation, and you're able to talk to your teachers. You can go up to upper world, which is what I would call heaven. And then there's the middle world, which is our reality, everyday reality, and the lower world, which is where our history is underneath the earth. And I really find it wonderful. In the beginning, I wasn't very good at tracking. Tracking is where you go hunt for the cause of why something happened. But then I decided that I was going to be very good at tracking. And so I became an expert with tracking, and so I'm able to track soul parts wherever they might be in all the universes. I do like that quite a bit.
Wow, sounds fascinating. Your life journey sounds fascinating. And I guess you're, through that process, you've realized different aspects of yourself that you can access as a result of being on this journey, and your possibilities have opened up. I would say that this is possible, or wow, even this is possible, even this is possible. And I guess being open to those possibilities makes it possible for you to access those abilities in you and those gifts in you.
Yeah, and I have to say that I had some really lovely teachers. One of my teachers is Doreen Virtue, who's an angel therapy practitioner instructor, and I just graduated in Kona recently from the ATP program.
What is the ATP program?
It's where we are able to access angels for healing and teaching and clarity, intuitive guidance. I've been teaching Archangel workshops for a number of years, and the angels are wonderful because one of the studies done shows that over 85% of the world's population believes in angels. So it's a very gentle, safe way to work with spirituality, and it seems to include a lot of different religious traditions, including my own, which is Islam.
Mm-hmm. We have that in common. Okay, so then, so I guess working with angels, so it helps when somebody believes, basically, in order for a practitioner or a modality to work for a person. It's really important for them to believe. Is that correct?
I would say that some people do not, but when they see that their life is changed, then you know, sometimes that's also okay. I think that if I see that a person doesn't believe, I just think that's a program. And when I explain to people that
you mentioned program a few times now. Maybe you can define what you mean by program.
Certainly. Sometimes the mass consciousness around us is a way that we've picked up programming, perhaps from our family of origin or our teachers, that this is the absolute truth. However, when we look at other parts of the world, we understand that maybe what we believe is the absolute truth may not be the absolute truth, that it's just one point of view.
Right.
So when we have, you know, the access to the divine truth, and that's individual for everyone, working within the context. Also, the subconscious mind is responsible for over 80% of the way we function versus the conscious mind. So I think that the subconscious mind is made up of many points of views, and I just call those programs. Some of those could be easily released. For example, I was told when I was a child that I was very shy, that I was quiet, that I was a follower, and much to my chagrin, I found out that I'm a leader and I love to teach workshops. So, you know, I had to really look at that belief. And when I worked with one of my life coaches, Raj Gill, Raj's numbers show that I was a leader, and yet I had always thought that I was a follower. I had no idea that I had.
Who's Raj Gill?
Raj Gill is a life coach who worked with me many years ago, and she's absolutely fabulous. She used to teach at Langara, and Raj has got that very grounded way about her. She calibrated the numbers, and she said, "You are a leader." And you know, that was a perfect example of programming that I bought into, because my birth family had always told me that I was shy, I was reclusive, and yet I was finding that I love people, I love communicating, I love teaching workshops, and so I had to really reevaluate that for myself and decide that yes, there are times when I really like the quiet times, but generally I love people, which is why I do the work I do.
It's wonderful. So I think I've picked and prodded a lot about your life and about all the things that you do in regards to healing modalities. Can you now tell the audience, Shelina's going to join us in November one evening, and she's going to do a workshop with us, and I wanted Shelina to tell you a little bit about what people can expect if they were to come to your workshop. Can you share a little bit?
Absolutely. This will be rewriting your soul contract. So we've come in with a life purpose contract, and because we judge ourselves quite harshly, we are not understanding that we can release programs of suffering quite easily, that whenever we want to live with more life purpose and joy and love and light, that it's very simple to do so, that we can change our soul contract quite easily, like the Akashic record. So I'll be teaching people how to access their own Akashic record, how to do the meditations, working with their ascended masters and the lords of karma to be able to facilitate changes for themselves. It will be an absolutely life-changing session. It's something I've been doing for 3 years. One of my ascended masters showed me how to do the work. And I'm so happy because now I feel that we've come to a time when whenever we release all those programming from the soul contract, we're able to free up that energy to be more of service to people and also to help the planet ascend to our higher spiritual frequency. And I do like that. I'm seeing also that some of that is showing up internationally, where the individual's rights are coming up more strongly than perhaps the tribal rights. So all over the world we're seeing a resurgence of individual freedoms and rights, and I think that we're just moving into a higher consciousness where we all have the peace and the liberty to have whatever is needed on this planet.
After you responded to that, I want to ask you more questions. I'm going to. One is, you mentioned we're going to a higher consciousness. Can you speak about that a little bit? What exactly does it mean to go to a higher consciousness? I mean, I have my consciousness, you have your consciousness, but as a collective, when you go to a higher consciousness, what does that exactly mean?
So right now, most of us are in the fourth dimension. Previously, we were in the third dimension. The third dimension is an illusion. It's a very solid place. What you see is what you get. Now with the fourth dimension, we have some solid and some light. So basically, a lot of us are running around with programs to think that we cannot change our future, but that's an illusion that we can, with our intention, change our future, that everything is not written in stone, that we still have free will, we have free choice. The fifth dimension is 100% white light, so that we do have free will and free choice. It's more of 100% white light energy, which says that there is no need for war, that there is no need for suffering, poverty, that what affects somebody in Africa is affecting us, that we're in this collectively, that it's more of a cooperation between religions and spiritual traditions and economic ways of being, that we're more in a global economy, and we can also look after the planet a little bit better than we're doing. Yeah, and it's something that the First Nations traditions in North America, who I consider to be my teachers, have also spoken about. They have been aware of that time, and also with the Indian tradition, the Vedic tradition, which I come from, has also talked about the Age of Truth, Satu, coming up, and the Mayan calendar also shows a change. So we're in that the new energy portal, which is going to be really, really wonderful. I'm so excited about that.
Okay. You mentioned we're in the fourth dimension right now? Okay,
yeah.
I don't know why it looks like we're in the third dimension then.
I think most healers like yourself are already in the fifth dimension, but I would say that a lot of us are still in the fourth dimension, and you know, most healers are have already moved into the fifth dimension. The sixth dimension is more about creativity. We can create whatever we want just with our thoughts. Our thoughts create our reality. The only difference is that the sixth plane, it becomes very quick, right? And we're already seeing that in medical science and technology.
Right.
Yeah.
That things are progressive rapidly.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I've exhausted all my questions. Is there anything you want to share with the audience right now that maybe I haven't asked you about, or something you want, some message you want to give the audience?
Yeah, I also wanted to mention that with the Akashic Record Rewrite workshop here at Astral Connections, we'll also be teaching people about 15 archangels and how to work with them. You're going to find it very, very empowering. My idea is that it'll be a very powerful class to help people facilitate changes for themselves. So I'm really, really glad, and that's why I enjoy teaching as much as I do. Also, I'm working a lot with intuitive development, and I do teach in several cities. Writing a book right now as well, rewriting the Akashic Record, as well as an Oracle deck, which is going to be on love and wisdom.
Oh, wow.
And my latest project is working with the twin soul configuration and hoping to teach workshops.
What is the twin soul configuration?
The twin soul is when, before our first lifetime on any planet, that we were all part of one big soul family. The soul family breaks off into various configurations. We are joined with the other part of ourselves, so-called twin, and then we split off to have very many lifetimes, and then we have about 11 to 12 lifetimes with the twin soul. At the end of the journey, we do meet the twin soul either here or on the other side, and in order to complete the cycle and to join. It's a very polarized union, but when it's together, it's a wonderful place to be. So I'm hoping to teach that in future.
Wow, I'm so looking forward to all our connections together at Astral and otherwise for that matter. I really look forward to attending even one of your workshops in the future. Thank you so much for joining us today, Shelina.
Thank you so much, and my thanks to Aslam Birani as well for all his help, his assistance. I very much appreciate the invitation.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, Shelina.